Hello, friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, friends, what should I say? The memories that cause pain or the memories which cause pain? Which one is correct? See, this is what happens. Generally, in our spoken and even in our written English, we tend to use that and which interchangeably, which isn't correct. So, what is correct? So, let's stay till the end of this video and uncover what is actually correct. So, let's get started, friends. That versus which. Let me tell you, both of these are relative pronouns. Okay. Now, what do you mean by relative pronouns? Relative pronouns are pronouns which will help you relate more to the subject. Like the example I just gave you, the memories that which cause pain. Okay. Now, what is correct? That is correct. Which is correct? We'll uncover this later. But what is a relative pronoun? Let's understand this first. So that and which, both of these pronouns are helping me relate more to the subject, and the subject here is memories. Okay. So what is the role? What is the function of a relative pronoun? Relative pronoun will help you relate more to the subject. But that does not mean that you can use whichever pronoun, as per your whims and fancies. There is a fundamental, there is a protocol in the standard English language, which we all have to follow in order to be in a correct English zone. Okay. And because we use that versus which interchangeably, that's where most of the errors come from. So if you're a journalist, if you're a blogger, if you're a lawyer, or if you're a student or any individual who is unaware, who's faced with a lot of grammatical dilemmas, please stay tuned. I will help you uncover this forever. And you're going to fix this problem forever. Okay. So that versus which. So we know that that and which both are relative pronouns. What are relative pronouns? Relative pronouns are pronouns which will help you relate more to the subject. Okay. So when should we use that? That is a restrictive clause. Now, what do you mean by a restrictive clause? Let's take an example and let's understand this. The movies that slash which convey a message are worth watching. Now, what do you mean by restrictive clause? Restrictive clause, restrictive clause will introduce the information, okay, that you can't get rid of from the sentence, which means it is necessary for the sentence to stand. Say, for example, if I drop this information, okay, things that follow that. If I drop this information from the sentence, okay, I'm dropping this. Convey a message are worth watching. If I drop this from the sentence, what will happen? The entire sentence will collapse. I do not have a sentence that exists because I've dropped the essential information of the sentence. So that's what brings me to that. Whenever you're introducing a piece of information which is essential, which is necessary for the identification of the noun, when I say noun, which means the subject, which is necessary for the subject, which is necessary for the identification of the noun, and it is an information on on dropping that information, if that entire sentence collapses, okay, which means you are bound to make use of that in that sentence. Okay, so now because I have this entire information which is essential, which is necessary for the sentence to stand alone, I will make use of that over here. Okay, so let me just simplify this. Use that to introduce all essential information. Okay, so if that information is necessary for your sentence to exist, please make use of that. Now, when should we use which? which, on the contrary, is a non-restrictive clause. What do you mean by non-restrictive clause? Which means any information that is additional in nature, that is not necessary for the sentence to stand alone. Like, for example, let's take an example. DDLG, which was directed by Mr. Yashraj, was a blockbuster hit. Now, say for example, I drop this information from the sentence. Okay, the information that follows which was directed by Mr. Yashraj. If I drop this from the sentence, I still have a sentence which says DDLG was a blockbuster hit. Okay, so if you see, on dropping this information from the sentence is not collapsing. The sentence still exists. There is still information, a complete sentence in itself. Okay, so whenever you have to introduce an additional information, an information which is not essential for the sentence, but just an extra piece of information, please make use of which. Always remember, whenever you use which or whenever you are introducing additional information or information which is non-essential, okay, that will always be surrounded by commas. That will always be surrounded by commas. Okay, so DDLG, which was directed by Mr. Yashraj, was a blockbuster hit, is an absolutely correct sentence because I have an additional information being introduced by a non-restrictive clause, which is which, and this is surrounded by commas. Okay, look at the second sentence, friends. There was an attack on Indian Army in Kashmir, which is a sad news. Now see, if you look at the sentence till Kashmir, there was an attack on Indian Army in Kashmir. The sentence is complete in itself. Okay, even if I drop this piece of information, the sentence still manages to stand alone. Yeah, which means whatever I'm introducing extra. That's additional. So which is a sad news? Obviously, it is a sad news. It's an additional information just for dramatic effect. Okay, so because it's an additional information, it is not an essential information for the sentence to stand alone. I will make use of which over here. By any chance, if you write that, if you replace this with that, the sentence stands incorrect. The sentence is absolutely incorrect. Now, students who are preparing for various competitive exams, be it any exams, okay, be it SAT, SAT, GMAT, or PCS, bank PO exams, etc. These are the kind of sentences you're going to see in your English section. Okay, they are going to test you as to when are you supposed to use which, when are you supposed to use that. Even if you're a journalist, bloggers, who focus on written communication, written English, please ensure that you use this correctly. So, friends, let's solve some sentences together. Let's do an exercise together. So, are we very clear? Let me just encapsulate this. Let me just summarize this for you. Whenever you have to introduce an essential information, you will make use of that. And whenever you have to introduce an extra information, which is non-essential, which is not necessary for the sentence, make use of which. It's as simple as that. Come on, let's quickly solve few sentences together. The first one says she wanted to buy a scarf that / which would complement her new gown. Now, if I drop the information following the relative pronoun, she wanted to buy a scarf, but this sentence is complete. This sentence is complete. She wanted to buy a scarf, but what is happening? What scarf? What kind of scarf? Which scarf is she looking at? I have no information at all. So this particular piece of information, a scarf that will complement her gown. That's the only scarf that she's looking at, not any scarf, but the scarf that will complement her gown. So now this becomes an essential information. Okay, because this piece of information is helping me relate more to the subject. Okay, relate more to the subject, relate more to the object. Yeah, so that is why I will say that she wanted to buy a scarf that would complement her new gown and not which would complement her new gown. Okay, I hope this is clear, friends. Let's proceed. The oranges that slash which grow in Nagpur are world famous. Now, I am talking about particular oranges. Okay, which particular oranges? The oranges that grow in Nagpur. Now, obviously, this information, if I drop from the sentence is going to collapse. I have nothing in the form of sentence that remains. So because this is an essential information, because this information that grow in Nagpur helps me relate more to the subject oranges, helps me identify what kind of oranges I'm trying to talk about, I will make use of that and not which. Are we very clear, friends? Okay, let's move ahead. The answer key that which comes along with the question bank is often incorrect. Now, I can very well say that the answer key is often incorrect. So even if I drop this information, I can say that. But if I say that the answer key is incorrect, I'm not very specific about which particular answer key am I talking about. Okay. Now, so which means this piece of information that comes along with the question bank, this information is helping me identify what answer keys am I talking about. Okay. So because it helps me identify the noun, because it helps me relate more to the noun in a complete sense, I will say that and not which. So the answer key, because I'm talking about a particular answer key, I'm not talking about any answer key, but I'm very specific about which answer key. The answer key that comes along with the question bank is often incorrect. Okay, so that is absolutely correct over here, which is not correct because we are not introducing any additional information. We are introducing essential information which will help us relate more with the subject, the answer key. The last one, I like movies that slash which make me laugh. Now, again, I am very specific. What movies am I talking about? It's an essential information. So obviously, I'll say that and not which. So I like movies that make me laugh is absolutely correct. Okay, let's look at this. I returned the gown that slash which was anyways defective to the shopkeeper. Now look at this. I returned the gown to the shopkeeper is absolutely correct. Okay. Now, obviously, I returned the gown because something is wrong with that gown. Okay. So this information is an extra information, is an additional information in the sentence. And additional information in the sentence will always be surrounded by commas. Whenever you see commas, it's a trick. Apply which. Okay, so I returned the gown, which was anyways defective, to the shopkeeper. This is an extra information, additional information, and hence I am making use of which over here. Are we very clear, friends? Okay, let's move ahead. I'm planning to take the cat. Okay, I'm planning to take the cat, that which is the mother of all exams, in the month of November. Now, I'm planning to take the cat in the month of November is complete sentence in itself. Now, what cat looks like, it is like a mother of all entrance exams, etc., etc. It's just an extra information, just an additional information. So even if I drop this information from the sentence, I can very well convey the complete sentence. That is, I'm planning to take the cat in the month of November, which is absolutely correct. It's a complete information. Okay. So that because it is complete and I'm adding something extra, I will make use of which is the mother of all exams. Okay. So this is right. That is incorrect in this case. The movie Pushpa, which is nothing more than a violence, is a blockbuster hit. Okay. So the movie Pushpa is a blockbuster hit. Is a complete sentence in itself, and it is conveying the necessary information that I intend to convey. However, by just giving an extra effect, by just giving an additional information, which is nothing more than avoidance, I am not giving anything essential. I'm not giving anything that is necessary for the sentence to stand, but something which is absolutely extra. And hence, which is absolutely correct over here. I will not use that, but I will use which. And then at the same time, you can see it is surrounded by commas. Surrounded by commas means non-essential clause. Surrounded by commas means you can very well go ahead and use which in the sentence. And that's it. So I hope you all are clear. When are we supposed to use that and when are we supposed to use which? That will convey essential clause, essential piece of information, which will convey non-essential information, additional information. So stay tuned. And if you like the content, you may subscribe to my channel. There is lots more that is coming your way. Thank you so much. See you soon in the next videos. Bye.